Yesterday, it was confirmed that Rangers had sacked their manager Philip Clement, making it another manager that has struggled to compete against the great Brendan Rodgers in Scotland. In today's video, we will go over what Celtic and favourite has had to say about this as he takes a dig at Rangers. Before we get into that, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Tomorrow night's match against Aberdeen at Celtic Park will be televised live on Sky Sports in a rare midweek game at Paradise in the Scottish Premiership. Last season, Celtic's 6-0 win over Aberdeen in November was televised on Sky, with the broadcaster favouring the game between the sides. Rangers' match against the Dons at Ibrox last month was also televised. Earlier in the season, when Aberdeen drew 2-2 at Celtic Park, Premier Sports looked to televise the game. However, Celtic opted out in favour of not revealing the kickoff time from 3 p.m. on that Saturday. The club communicated this decision to supporters, expressing an understanding of the travel many fans put in. It's certainly poised to be an exciting but tough game for Celtic tomorrow night, with Aberdeen returning to form in recent weeks after a dismal winless run in earlier months. The Dons are now back up to third in the table and come to Celtic Park under the lights, looking to cause the Hoops problems. However, given the tough games the Dons have given Celtic since that 6-0 win in November 2023, Brendan Rodgers and his team know exactly the threat that Jimmy Thalin's side will bring in a game that is often highly competitive all over the pitch. For Celtic, it's a chance to bounce back from a rare domestic defeat at Easter Road on Saturday, with Rodgers and the players likely to be fired up. With the game live on Sky, it will generate significant viewing figures. However, with the broadcaster only allowed to show 5 Celtic home games each season, which usually includes Flag Day and trophy presentations alongside 2 Glasgow derbies, tomorrow's match will be the 5th and final game selected out with the other games mentioned. Now for the main story, as Rangers have pulled the trigger on Philippe Clement, sacking the Belgian manager on Sunday evening, just over 24 hours after a humbling 2-0 defeat to St Mirren at Ibrox. The decision came on a day when Celtic also faltered, losing 2-1 to Hibernian at Easter Road, but it did little to shift the balance at the top of the Scottish Premiership. Rangers fans turned up at Ibrox with hopes of cutting Celtic's imposing 13-point lead to 10, only to leave with the gap intact and Celtic's goal difference extending by a further strike. The misery for Rangers supporters was compounded by Celtic icon and Sky Sports pundit, who took to social media platform X to comment on the situation. On October 30th, after the defeat to Aberdeen, myself and Chris Boyd said it was time for Big Phil to go. The Rangers board didn't listen. He seemed to be a decent man, but didn't understand the demands of football in Glasgow. Another Rangers manager seen off by Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers' remarkable record against Rangers managers continues to grow. With Clement's departure, Rodgers has now seen off 6 different Ibrox bosses across his 2 spells in charge at Celtic. His dominance over the blue side of Glasgow is becoming a recurring theme, adding another chapter to the managerial merry-go-round at Rangers. Despite the rare dropped points for Celtic, Rodgers' side remains in firm control of the league. As Rangers look to reset once again, Celtic remains steady under Rodgers' leadership. With a title challenge now seemingly out of reach for their rivals, the Hoops will look to consolidate their position and push. In other news, former Celtic winger Mikey Johnston has completed a huge milestone in his time at West Bromwich Albion. Johnston, who joined West Brom on August 30th on a permanent deal after impressing last season on loan at the Baggies, came through the Celtic youth system, spending 16 years at the club from 2008 until 2024. However, the Irish winger would ultimately fail to become a first-team starter week in, week out, but the same cannot be said for his time at West Brom, recently making his 50th appearance for Tony Mowbray's side against Oxford United. West Brom are currently 5th in the Championship, in the promotion playoff spots. Interestingly, Johnston has played in all but 2 league games, with those games spent on the bench. Having struggled with injuries throughout his career, he now appears to be enjoying a consistent run away from the sidelines. Johnston's career didn't work out at Celtic, but he is undeniably a talented player who will succeed away from the club. At West Brom, he has an opportunity that he is enjoying alongside Mowbray. With an experienced coach who will help him develop, it's good to see the pair linking up well in the English Championship this season. For Johnston, Celtic will always have a huge part of his heart. having grown up a supporter and playing at the club for much of his career. Although he wasn't able to live up to the hype at Celtic, he has shown in recent years that he has matured a lot, with West Brom happy with the progress he has made over the last year. In other news, Celtic club record signing Arne Engels was strong in his reaction to Saturday's 2-1 defeat against Hibernian at Easter Road. Engels started the game. However, the Belgian was unable to help the Hoops get a result in a match that will be remembered for all the wrong reasons, with a controversial VAR decision ruling out Dyes and Maida's equaliser late in the game due to the ball allegedly going out of play in the build-up. Saturday was certainly a learning curve for Engels, going from a dramatic Champions League exit 6 days ago in stoppage time at the Allianz to facing Hibernian, who attacked Celtic from the outset with an early goal from Josh Campbell. Brendan Rodgers had to make 3 changes at half-time to attempt to alter the course of the game. Despite early criticism over a drop in performances, Engels has bounced back in recent months, going on to become a starter week in, week out. At the Allianz, he put in one of his best performances in a Celtic shirt, but like a number of teammates, he could be seen as guilty of falling below the standards that the Hoops have set for themselves this season against David Gray's side on Saturday. Despite the way in which Celtic were denied an equaliser, Engels didn't look to make excuses, instead taking positives from the game. He said, no, never. We don't have excuses. If we lose or win, we don't have excuses. I think we are like real sports people, and we always that mentality of trying to do everything really good. That's a really positive thing of our group. You see it also in the second half that we don't put our heads down or something. We just keep on pushing to try to get that equaliser, and we almost got it. We just need to take the positive points of the second half with us. That second half is our normal level, I think. The first half can never happen to us, but we also need to take the positive. I think we did great in the second half. You see that we were pressing to get a goal. We got so much energy into the second half that we had chances also, so we need to just go on. Celtic were on top in the second half at Easter Road, dominating the final 45 minutes. However, if the Hoops hadn't started the game so poorly in the first half, they wouldn't have had to dig themselves out of a hole, but for poor defending and individual mistakes. Engels and Celtic have an almost immediate opportunity to bounce back tomorrow night against Aberdeen at Celtic Park. However, against Aberdeen, Celtic face the only team in the Scottish Premiership team to get a result at Celtic Park in October, with a 2-2 draw after the Hoops were 2-0 up at half-time. The nature of the draw will undoubtedly mean Celtic are up for the game tomorrow night, and if the boys can play the way they did in the second half at Easter Road, they will likely win the game. However, if they don't and start how they did against Hibs, it may mean Aberdeen could cause serious problems. Celtic fans, what are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. That does bring us to the end of today's video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you.